everybody. I'm so glad you all came. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you guys all showing up today. Thank you for watching out there. I appreciate that also. We are in Washington County, New York. Yes, we are. Stop number. Yes, thank you. We are now, this is stop number 24 of 62 to cross this entire state. I am outside and I'm past 6 feet. So I'm going to take my mask off. I'm being good social distancing. I'm being far enough away from, I'm actually more than 9 from everybody. So I'm being good. So I am taking my mask off to have this conversation. Why am I here saying this? Why am I out here doing this? Because this is our time to make real change, not just in New York State, but in the nation itself. The most important piece that many of you will have to understand, I hope you'll understand, is that whether Trump wins or loses in this election, and I don't know which one he will, but whatever he does, it's not going to all of a sudden heal our country. Our country needs real change and needs to be healed, and the only way we're going to do that is by having a strong third party, a strong libertarian party. We have to vote gold this year, not next year or the year after. This year. That's the most important piece. Gentleman talked to me about on my show yesterday, and he actually said, Larry, I don't understand, why aren't people voting for Trump? Why aren't libertarians voting for Trump? It's important. This is our year, and we got to stop the socialists and Democrats. And he wasn't trying to be mean. That's what he honestly believed. And there are many Americans who believe exactly that to be true. I get it. And the many Democrats do exactly the opposite. We got to stop Trump. He's going to end the world. The world's going to end. I hear it. But I'll ask a very important question. Assuming either of those things are true, that either Trump will end the world or Biden will end the world, whatever the case may be, are things just all of a sudden going to get better once that happens? If Trump wins, are Democrats going to go, okay, you know what? Now we're all Republicans. It's not going to happen. If Trump loses, the Republicans go, okay, now we're all Democrats. Of course not. If Trump wins, Democrats go for the left. If Trump loses, Republicans go for the right. So that means 4 years from now, it's still bad. In fact, it's worse. How do we change that? By having a third party, so we can stop fighting each other all the time and start having actual solutions. That only happens if we vote gold this year. Now, some of you who are watching are not in New York. I get it. Doesn't matter. What happens in this state will eventually get to your state. What happens in my city, New York City, will eventually come to your city. That's how it works. We are the actual battleground state. New York State is the battleground state. For those of you who don't know, New York State is a super diverse state. Super diverse. We have counties in New York State that have 5,000 people in it, and counties that have 2.3 million, all in the same state. We have rivers and mountains and forests and plains and farms and dairy farms and big cities and waterfalls and anything you can imagine. It's in this state. And people of all different thoughts, all different ideas are in this state. If we can't live and get along, the country can't. This state matters. You should care. And I'm very lucky today. I have somebody here who's running for our state assembly, who wants to make change in New York State, and hopefully will make that change move across the country if he actually wins. Hope you support him. A couple of seconds here from Charles Henry.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And I'm running for the assembly from the 107th district. And basically, we have seen this year that our governor is kind of on a power trip.
Yes.
And he, even though the coronavirus is a legitimate threat, the way he handled it, basically he shut down businesses, and basically he shut down ones that he picked and choose which ones to close down and when to reopen them. And this basically is the legislature basically stayed in Albany long enough just to abdicate the responsibility and then run off to their to get away from the problem. So I would like to change that. I believe that toxic relationship between Democrats and Republicans can be helped by having a third party in there that will not cause as much tension between, will be able to talk to both sides. And so that basically is what, and the two parties have their divisive issues that they're pushing. Basically, what I want to push is trying to get people together to solve the problem.
Yes.
So,
Your website. Tell me your website.
well, Facebook,
Tell me
Charles
your
A. Senrick.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you, Charles. So yes, what we're trying to do is exactly what he's talking about. We're trying to make actual change. In my state, in New York, literally I had someone, as I went to an event in a city in New York State. I won't tell you what city, but it was a city. Most of the cities in New York State are blue. Most of them are. And she started the conversation by saying, Cuomo's doing a great job with COVID. That's how she began the conversation. You were there, you remember. Yes, you remember that. She began the conversation like that. Yes, absolutely.
No, she's dead serious.
Yes, she's dead serious. Absolutely. She began the conversation that way. Now, why do I say that? Because there are enough New Yorkers and Americans who believe that a strong central power is the right answer. That's the right answer. Now, I want you to think for a second. Don't we always talk about how amazing diversity is? Isn't that what we always talk about? Diversity is amazing, diversity is great, we're all diverse, be diverse. I hear it all the time. Diversity is critical. We talk about that. Then what do? Then we create a one-size-fits-all solution for everybody. How does that make any sense? New York State is diverse. There's a big difference between Washington County and Queens, right? Between Hamilton and Brooklyn. They're between Erie and Wyoming. They're different counties. They are different counties, and that's a good thing, which means why don't we allow counties to be counties? Why don't we actually respect the diversity that we say and act accordingly and stop letting one person or one city run an entire state? How about we let more money stay within the counties? How about let more people have more localized control? Why don't we do that? Why don't we let Hamilton be Hamilton and let Brooklyn be Brooklyn? Why don't we let Washington be Washington and Queens be Queens? How about we do that? Then each community, each county can say, this is who we are and we're proud of that. That'd be amazing. But we don't do that. We have one person or one city to control everything. And here's the worst part about that. I talk about this when it comes to COVID. When it comes to COVID response, remember something. COVID's real. COVID's real. It does hurt people and kill people. That absolutely happens. What it doesn't do is hurt businesses or get your job or shut your culture or shut your school down. Only government can do that. So when people say, well, I lost my job because of COVID. No, you didn't. You lost your job because of the government response to COVID. Well, I lost my business because of COVID. No, you didn't. You lost your business because of the government response to COVID. So what's the actual answer? Larry, how are you going to make a change? Well, here's the issue. Across New York State, we have parts of New York State where every single death from COVID was in a nursing home. That's it. Outside of a nursing home, there were no deaths. I'm sorry, say again? In your county, is that right? Yates, right? Yates County, there we go, yes. Where every death, there wasn't one death outside of a nursing home. And there are places like New York City where that's not true. So why in the world would I want to come up with a plan that's the same for Manhattan that it is for Yates County? That makes no sense when the damage was different. The results were different. But then, Larry, how do we know what to do? How do we know how to act? Let me tell you what actually happened, and then what I said we should have done. By the way, I'm on record saying this 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I said this. So I'm on record saying this. When this first happened, they said, we have to have a national answer. We have to have a statewide answer. That's not what I said. What I said is we have to have standards for each county, each state, and review all the standards and see what actually works. Remember how masks were first bad, then they were okay, then they were good, then maybe they hurt you, now they're everything, and everyone's confused. Of course. Where's the actual data? But what if instead of us deciding to have one size fits all, we instead use New York State for one way that people actually like? Not as a place to dictate rules to everybody, but a centralized repository for information that says, here is what the CDC says you should do with masks. Here is what local doctors say you should do with masks. Here's what holistic groups say you should do with masks. Go. Do. Please report back. There's no fees. There's no worries. Post your results. Let's talk about it. But a lot of people wouldn't post the results. Yelp. Wikipedia. That's all people posting results. That's all people do. That's what social media is. Posting your results. People would have happily, voluntarily, within the first 2 months, I would have started, because what I knew in February, the government probably knew as early as December, or maybe even earlier than that. Whatever time I would have known, for sake of argument, January, for sake of argument. In January, we began putting that up. By the time February and March comes around, we just were starting to figure things out, we'd have all the data. We know what actually works. There'd be no question. And we'd all do it. Why? Because we know it would save lives. Would we have made that mistake and send those people back to those nursing homes? Not if I was governor. That wouldn't have happened. We would know what actually works. But not just that, we set up protocols. We'd know how to run a retail store. We'd be able to function. We'd know how to run a gas station, a restaurant. We would have protocols that we would know work, not the way it is now, which is, well, if you're sitting down, you don't need a mask. But if you're standing up, you do. Because I guess COVID hovers around right here. So if you sit down, you hide it. I don't know how that works. I don't know what happens. Is that what happens? Right? So it's all different. I don't know. Whatever. But my point is we would know what actually works. And here's the most important piece. When we began to force it, what did people do? Yeah. They rebelled. Immediately. Once you said you must, people looked at who said you must and then judged it by who said you must. Oh, a Democrat said you must? I'm a Democrat? Then that's exactly the right answer. A Democrat said I'm a Republican? That's the wrong answer. But look to science. No one looked to science. Look to see who said it. They judged it by who said it. Well, what if no one said it? What if I said, here it is, good luck? Now, I'm not telling you to do anything. You get to pick. You know what would have happened? What you saw happening before the mandate, and some of you saw it. I saw it in New York City. I saw already before the mandate happened, I saw stores creating their own protocols, having 6-foot things, deciding what plastic goes up. They were already testing it already before the mandates came. Before His Majesty King Andrew II, all hail His Majesty, before he decided to decide who was essential and not, before he deemed me unessential or non-essential, we were already doing these things. If we would have supported that in January or February, we'd already be out of this because we know what was real already. But we didn't. Here is the biggest issue that people will tell you, but here's the biggest problem. Larry, if we allow individual people to do individual things and communities do things, someone will make a mistake. That's true. That's accurate. But when that one community makes an error, what will happen? Well, guess what? Now those other communities that didn't, their doctors and medical community are now free to go help them. Literally, free to go help them. Because the other counties didn't make a mistake. One county suffers, we can now assist others learn. But what happens when the governor, in all his wisdom, His Majesty decides, His Grace, he decides that the entire state will do something? Everybody suffers. And there is no one to help because we're all suffering. And that's what's happening now. We all suffer. I don't know how many people would have died of COVID in New York State had we tried my style. Here's what I'm 100% sure. Less than now. That I'm 100% sure of. Less than now. That I'm sure of. The libertarian answer is the right answer. And there's a more important piece of this. It's the answer that people can accept because it's not being forced. You can choose to do it. And what happens? Most people do. Most people do. Every single time, most people do. Some people are going to be jerks, but they're going to be jerks no matter what. That's not going to change. Those who are going to be jerks no matter what. But now I got extra jerks. I got extra jerks because I don't like it. It's this guy who said it. This guy's shady. So that guy said it. So when he says it, I'm not doing it. Versus him going, here's my idea, good luck. And I go, that guy looks pretty smart. Let me try that. Oh, it works? I'll do it. But there's something else here. This is human nature. There are a lot of people who are wearing masks or keeping social distance, or whatever the case may be, just because they want to keep other people happy. And it's fine with that. You feel uncomfortable with me being 6 feet from you? I'll say 6 feet because you feel comfortable. That's fine. Even if I don't believe it, I'll do it because I care about you. This is a way of encouraging respect. Remember something, whether you're left or whether you're right, if you think government has to enforce your will upon others, what you're saying is you don't trust humans. You're saying we have to be ruled. I disagree. We don't have to be ruled. It's not required. If you give people the right environment, you'll be amazed on what they'll actually do. It happens again and again and again. And we've seen in other countries, we've seen in America, and we saw it here in New York before they made the mandate. And you all know it. You saw it. And when did you start hating masks? When Cuomo told you to wear a mask. Prior to that, you didn't hate masks. You didn't care. Nobody did. They're like, oh, are we doing the mask thing? Whatever. They didn't care because they weren't being ordered. The second they had ordered, mask. That's when it went away, when we got ordered. So I have an idea. Don't order. People tease me about my daughters. They say, my daughters aren't that rebellious. I say, you don't know my daughters. They are rebellious. But they don't rebel against you. That's true. Do you know why? I don't order them to do anything. That's the reason. Hard to rebel when you don't give orders. Hard to rebel. Very difficult. And that goes not just for daughters, that goes for people in general. This is our actual answer for our future. This is our answer to save our state. This is our answer to save our country. Because the Libertarian Movement, Liberty Party doesn't order. It has ideas for change in our country. And I'm going to give you the toughest one here for New York State. New York State is in a horrible financial situation. Some of you know this. Prior to COVID, we had a $6 billion deficit and over $400 billion in debt before COVID. Now we got about a $60 or so billion deficit plus about $500 billion in debt. How can you get around that? They might say, wow, Cuomo's in trouble. No, our governor, our dear leader, His Majesty King Andrew II, all hail. Yes, all hail. He is happy COVID hit. I'm not joking. He now can take 10 years of mismanagement, 10 years of terrible leadership, and throw it in the garbage and said, COVID did it. Yes, Trump's fault. All Trump. Trump did it. Trump did it. His words were literally, his words, we got ambushed by COVID because of Trump. That is what he said. And people are buying it. He's literally writing a book on how good he is. Yes, he is. Yes, I'm not saying he's writing a book on how amazing he is. He's going to put it out and people are going to buy it. And go, see, he's amazing. He saved our lives. It was the evil Trump who did everything when it came to COVID. All his fault. All hail His Majesty. That's what's going to happen. And then in 2023, it's going to take us through bankruptcy. This state goes through bankruptcy in 2023. Receivership. There is no way around it. How in the world are we going to all of a sudden come up with $60 billion every single year for the next 5 or 10 years until with people leaving every single year? Yes, with people leaving every day. You all know people who left. You all know people who left, right? All heads are nodding. Yes, yes, everyone knows people who left, of course. So how in the world are we going to get that? We can't. It's impossible unless you have an answer. He has no answer. Anybody know what his answer is? Raise property taxes, yell at Trump to give me more money, whatever is his rules, right? So that is not an answer, which means 2023, this state goes to bankruptcy. Unless we make a change. And that change is libertarian. Larry, you don't have an answer. Of course I do. Come on. You know better than that. Of course I do. There are many things we have to do to change this thing. But one of them is cryptocurrency. I'm not joking. We need to create a New York coin. How are we going to put a New York coin into play? I'm going to tell you how. This is going to do two amazing things you're going to love. You're going to love this idea. Once we get a New York coin, how do we create a New York coin? What do we do with it? Well, we make a cryptocurrency, and then we now change how education is done in New York State. Some of you remember my education plan for 2018. Well, how do you pay for it? Grossly simple. Here's how you pay for it. You're going to take cryptocurrency, and you are going to pay for education directly from the state in cryptocurrency. Now I said, wait a minute, why would I do that? Because what is one of the biggest ways that people get money from New York State? Through selling to our education system. They sell books, they sell chairs, they sell desks, they sell equipment, tons of money in us, tons of it. Our budget, $60 billion for education in New York State. That's now paid out in cryptocurrency directly from the state. What does that also mean? No more school tax. Imagine if school tax goes away. For most people here, your property tax is cut by at least half. Most, not everybody, but by half. Imagine your property tax is cut by half. You might actually stay in the state. You might not run away. You might actually stay in the state. You might not leave. You might retire in this state. You may not leave. You might spend your pension in this state. You may not leave. Not just that, cryptocurrency goes right to the school districts. When that goes to the school districts, it takes away the school budget. The school budget, $60 billion. What's your deficit? $60 billion. I just fixed our deficit. And people will take our coin. Why? There's too much money in it. There's simply too much money in it. So that means local people will take it also. So will Connecticut, so will New Jersey, they start taking it. Well, Larry, why doesn't the government think about this? They can't. There is no way for them to even imagine this. They are career politicians, and all they know is tax, 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 fine, fee, tax. Sorry? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, they will use the words invest or fund, which means tax. They can imagine what I'm talking about. But imagine, it's you. You have a massive textbook business, and you get $10 million a year in your textbook business. Now you can get $3 million in the New York coin. Would you take it, or would you give up $3 million? You'll take it. Of course you would. That's how you introduce the cryptocurrency into the field. You introduce it into the world by putting it into the education system. All of a sudden now, things are going to change. But so you take tax in cryptocurrency? No, taxes still come in dollars. Why? To pay off our debt. Cryptocurrency goes out for education, dollars come in, we pay off our debt, deficit solved, the state will become, it will float until we can get people to come back, because with lower taxes, they'll come back and rebuild our economy. It can be done. How do I come up with this plan? Because I think like an entrepreneur, and so do most libertarians. I don't care about left and right. I care about solving our problems. I don't care about power for the left and power for the right. I'm telling you this plan openly, and I'm not running for anything. Anyone can take this plan. Please take this plan. Some of you saw me on Joe Rogan. When I was on Joe Rogan, at the end of Joe Rogan said, he said, Larry, where'd you get these plans from? I said, me and my team put them together. He said, great, yeah, lock these plans down. I said, why? He said, people will take them. I said, take them. I don't have to run. I can go back home and spend time with my family and friends. I don't want to do this anymore. Please take them all and fix this country and fix my state. They're on LarrySharpe.com. Take them. I haven't pulled them down. You can still take them all. But they won't. They won't. If we keep voting red and blue down the line, this is what we're going to get. But if we start voting gold, you will see a change. You're already seeing it. More and more people are coming out. People are coming out to these events. Every single time we go out, more and more people keep coming. Why? Because they're getting it too. Vote gold this year. If you vote gold this year, we have a chance at victory. What I mean by that, I mean our state and our nation has a chance at victory, and not just digging a deeper and deeper divide. It's not getting better. You can see it, all of you. You wouldn't be here if you thought it was getting better. You wouldn't be watching if you thought it was getting better. It's not. There is an answer. Vote gold. That's the answer. Vote gold this year for a change in the future. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, guys.